Initially they shut down the $15 an hour minimum wage. They shut down all of Bernie's entire platform. And who was there on the people's behalf to say, I abstain? This is not going to fly. If the Democratic Party is going to destroy our middle class, I abstain from the Democratic platform, and Dr. Cornel West abstained, and he endorsed Dr. Jill Stein. That was my signal. That was my signal when I said, here is a man who is not tethered to any party. A man who is not willing to compromise on his convictions. This is the time. That's the signal. We can see what happens. I can see the writing on the wall. The DNC had committed. Let's say it. We need to talk about it, okay? 2 words that are really important. We're talking about the law of the land. The highest law of the land is Constitution, and our right to vote is protected by the Constitution. So if you can't stand up, talking about a lot of these issues is really important, healthcare, education, but if you can't stand up for people, 20 million people's constitutional right that just got violated, well, you know, that's why we're here in the Green Party. Okay? Green Party stands for integrity, and we're going to make sure, we're going to keep talking about election fraud, because let's face it, in 2013, 14, the United States accused the Ukraine of having a fraudulent election, right? Their exit polls were off by 14%, and the United States was there to say, this is an atrocity to democracy, right? So this year in our primaries in Arizona, what do we see? 37% off in the exit polls in Hillary Clinton's favor. And where's our media? Where's our media crying foul at our constitutional right to vote being violated? They're not there, right? And they're not giving time to the Green Party. I just found out a horrible statistic the other day. There used to be a thing called the Fairness Doctrine that the FCC had, and within that there was a rule called the Equal Time Rule. And that means that one presidential candidate is going to get free time from a corporation, a media corporation. All presidents that are running have to get equal time, right? This year, Donald Trump's empty podium with nobody even standing at it got more media coverage than Gary Johnson or Dr. Jill Stein. That is unacceptable. So I want to talk about the growth of the Green Party. I want to talk about it right here, right for us in California, okay? I came on as the volunteer coordinator for the Jill Stein campaign on August 19th. At that point, California had 58 counties, and there were 34 active counties in the state. My job was to call through the 7,000 volunteers that came through on Jill's website for the campaign. I started calling through and meeting people in every county in the state, and now we have over a dozen new county parties that are now, many of them have received active status, and many of them have applied, and we're just waiting on the meetings to get them through. So the growth has been phenomenal, and it has been something that the Green Party has not seen before. We saw a lot in 2000, but this year is something unprecedented. Okay? So this massive influx of Bernie Sanders supporters has really taken us from 0 to 60. Okay? Jill Stein's donations went up 1,000% a couple months ago. Okay? So this gives us what we need to battle these 1%er media corporations. The Green Party, for the first time, had its first town hall on a major news network shortly after that spike in donations. So what we're saying is we are a people-powered party. Right? We do not accept money from the 1%. And this is the perfect example of that, right? Is every county in this state that I've gotten to contact, these are a self-mobilizing movement of people that worked hard for Bernie. Almost every single one of them, almost every single one of those 7,000 volunteers this quarter is a Bernie Sanders supporter. Right? And so out of all those people, they got their own button makers, they got their own t-shirt printers. You know, all they needed from us was just a little structure. Hey, how does the Green Party work, right? And the Green Party works on a county-by-county basis, right? So really quickly, I just want to run through, and I want to thank some people here locally that have set up some of these new county parties. Is anybody in here from Sacramento County? We got some people from Sacramento County. There's a couple people I'd like you to contact when you guys get back home. There's a wonderful lady that was on Fox 40 News with me talking about Dem Exit. Her name is Nicole Castor. She was a Bernie Sanders supporter. Now she's a council member of the Green Party of Sacramento County. So when you guys get home, look her up on Facebook, see if you can find her. And I'd also like to thank some of my other Sacramento folks, Gary Blenner, James Lee Clark, and also Christopher Carlson. Some of these people are here with us today, and thank you guys. Who we got here that's from Solano County? Anybody here that's Davis, Vacaville, any of you folks? When you guys get back home, there's a wonderful lady named Victoria Ashley. Okay, she works with the Green Party of Solano County. Find her on Facebook or whatever you got to do. Let's all take this movement that's building right now. Let's get involved. It only takes a small amount of really dedicated people in each county to change everything. And we just got, my county, Butte County, just got activated status just about 2 months ago. And since then we've been at our 2 colleges. We've been doing parades and just events and protests, the Dakota Access Pipeline. So once you guys get together and get together a couple good people, it doesn't take much. You can change everything in your area in a very short period of time. So I encourage you all to do that. I encourage you. So when I got here over a little 2 months ago, basically things just kept falling like dominoes. Every county I found, these people were already activating and already mobilizing. So the ball is rolling, and it's our job now to reach out to because I know in my county, we were the same Bernie folks that were doing voter registrations on the street. Now we're all doing the same thing, but we're doing it for the Green Party, and we're keeping the momentum going. So reach out to your fellow Bernie Sanders supporters, reach out to your independents, reach out to the socialist alternative members in your area. As progressives, we all need to work together to build this party for 2020, because in 2020, 80% of millennials voted for Bernie this year. That's not 80% of Democrats. That's 80% of all millennials. Okay? One thing they don't take into account is these high school students that if they could have, they would have voted for Bernie. Right? So we have this new generation that's leaning progressive. And we were the ones here, especially like my Bernie delegates, my folks, we witnessed what a corrupt party looks like. And we said to ourselves, what do we really want? Do we want one independent in a Democratic Party that hates everything that he stands for? Or do we want an entire party of progressive values, Bernie Sanders delegates, supporters, and Greens that will take us where we need to go? Right on. So we need to get out and vote. We need to talk to all of our neighbors and our brothers and our sisters and our families, and we need to get out and vote now, because right now the voter registration statistics from Gallup are telling us how unhappy our country is with the two-party system. Right? Gallup, we've trusted them for a long time. Right now the voter registration statistics are telling us that 26% of people are Republicans, 30% of people are registered Democrats, and 43% of people are registered independent, no party, or Greens, Libertarians. Right? So we don't like it. We don't like the two-party system. It keeps giving us the same thing. Whether we go blue or whether we go red, we get the same thing, which is this 1% elite getting all the income and sending all of our, what in the 50s used to be economics here in America. Now it's in these countries. It's in countries like China that pollute so terribly that asthma is skyrocketing for them over there. They can barely even go outside. So our convenience to have things made cheaply is not worth the expense of the planet, period. So get out and talk to your folks. Right now, these polls that are going on by the debate committee, right? They don't call landlines. Or, I mean, all they do is call landlines. And so that means millennials are not being involved. 90% of millennials don't have landlines, right? So what we need to do, even in these totally rigged polls, we're polling in somewhere between 3 and 7%. So the reality of the situation is we're probably at a lot more, right? So 5%, what do we get? We get $22 million in federal funding for 2020, right? Right now we're on 48 ballots in the country, right? And we had to collect millions of signatures to do that, right? At 10%, I believe it's at 10%, correct me if I'm wrong. At 10% we get national party status, and all 50 states permanently never have to do a ballot signature ever again. So now is the time. Tell everybody you know, reach out to your Bernie Sanders folks, we're going to build a progressive party in all 50 states with federal funding for 2020. And when all these 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds are legal to vote, they're already leaning progressive, we'll have built for them the home that they deserve. Yeah. So. And a lot of people like to criticize and say, you know, what's the Green Party doing on the local level, right? Well, we have 71 Greens in office right now here in California today. Like I said earlier, there are 58 counties in California, and we have 36 new Green candidates on the ballot here in November. So we need to get out and vote for these guys. We need to get them in office. Out of those people, what that means for us is there are about to be a bunch more Greens in office here in California. And these are people that we know and we can trust that whatever they say, they're going to do. Because it's time for America to demand of their politicians to not just talk the talk, but to walk the walk. And just knowing that they're a Green candidate guarantees you that they're progressive. Because in order to line up with our 4 pillars, which are solid, and our 10 key values, you got to be progressive. So get out and vote for these people. And I would like to introduce one of them to you right now. Here in Solano County, we have a Green candidate for Vacaville City Council, and I would like you to give some applause to him as we bring him up here. His name is Alfonso Almendarez.